Sophie the Awesome, Chapter 5. Let's see what she does now to try to be awesome. Sophie was still a tiny bit sore when she got to the lunchroom, but the smell of the food helped a lot. Kate did too. "Hey, Sophie," Kate called. She waved her over to the lunch line. "Sophie, over here." "Excuse me," said Mindy. She was standing just behind Kate. "No cuts." "Yeah," said Lily, who was behind Millie. "No cuts." Kate turned to them. "I was saving her a place, so it's not cuts." She took Sophie's arm and she pulled her in. "Besides, give her a break." "How are you feeling, Sophie?" she asked. Sophie stretched out a smile. "Awesome," she said. "Whatever," Mindy scoffed. "We'll give you a break, Sophie, because we know Miss Moffley is not going to." Then she giggled and Lily chimed in. Sophie turned to Kate. She suddenly was feeling as awesome. She suddenly wasn't feeling as awesome anymore. "Am I really in big trouble?" she whispered. Kate bit her lip and shrugged. "Actually, we all are," she whispered back. "Miss Moffley says no hall privileges for the whole class for the rest of the week." Sophie sighed. That was too bad. And not because she liked hall privileges. It was too bad because it made being awesome even harder. Kate kindly handed Sophie a tray. "Hey, knock, knock," she said brightly. "Who's there?" Sophie said. "Kenya." "Kenya who?" said Sophie. "Can you hand me one of those milks, please?" Kate laughed. Sophie smiled a little again. She was glad she had a friend like Kate to cheer her up. "Keep it moving," shouted Grace from the back of the line. Sophie handed Kate a carton of milk and slid her tray to where the lunch lady stood waiting. She offered Sophie a plate of fish sticks and French fries. Sophie's smile quickly faded. Fish sticks? How could something so blah have smelled so yum? It was probably the most unawesome lunch she could think of. She set the plate down on her tray and then took a roll in a dish of carrots. Then suddenly she had an idea hit her, and it was awesome. "Hey, give me your tray," she told Kate. Sophie grabbed it before Kate could stop her. "Sydney, give me yours too." "Huh?" said Sydney. She was just about to walk out to the table. "I mean, won't you please let me carry your tray for you?" said Sophie. She smiled a big, helpful-looking smile. "You too, Sophie, eh?" "Why?" the girls asked. "Because," said Sophie, "I just wanted to be helpful. Plus, carrying 4 trays would be pretty awesome, don't you think?" She grinned at Kate. If she could have winked, she would have, but it was too hard. That it looked like something was stuck in her eye whenever she tried. "Are you sure you can do it?" asked Sydney. "No problem," said Sophie. She moved Kate's tray to her left arm and balanced it just above her elbow. Then she took Sydney's tray in her left hand and Sophie's A's in her right. Ugh, she tried not to groan. The trays were much heavier than she expected. Put my tray right here, will you?" said Kate. "Like this," said Kate. She balanced the tray in the crook of Sophie's right arm. "Perfect," said Sophie. "Are you sure you can do this?" Sydney asked one more time. "I hope," Sophie thought. "I'm sure," she said. In fact, maybe she could carry 5 trays, one on the other hand, like the lady carrying water in the desert on TV. But then she turned around and the nearest tray was Mindy's. 4 trays would be awesome enough. "Okay, let's go," Sophie said. Sophie led her short line of trayless friends toward the girls' usual table. Her arms were starting to shake, but she held her head high. She waited for the whole cafeteria to notice her, to stop mid-chew and stare, to yell, "That is awesome!" But no one did. Sophie guessed they needed prodding. "Coming through," she began to holler. "Hot fish sticks! Look out!" Suddenly, Dean scooted his chair out in front of her. "Seriously, look out," she cried. Dean scooted his chair back in. "No, you look out," he said. "What are you doing?" asked Jack, who was sitting beside him. Sophie reached her table at last and smiled. "I," she said, "am carrying 4, count them, 4 trays." She wanted to bow, but of course she couldn't. So Sophie decided to set the trays down, but she couldn't do that either. The minute she leaned forward, the plate started sliding, the silverware started rolling, and all 4 trays started moving on their own. "Help me, Kate," Sophie cried. Kate quickly slipped her hand under Sophie's tray and set it down. Sophie A. and Sydney hurried to grab their own just in time. Sophie waited for her heart to start beating normal again. Then she held up her arms. Ta-da, she called. She looked at all the kids around her. What do you think? Wasn't that awesome? She thought that they would cheer or clap, but there was not any. You almost dropped them, said Sophie A. You spilled my carrots, said Sydney. What's so awesome about carrying 4 trays anyway, asked Mindy. She was just walking up behind them, carrying her own tray. You know, I went to a restaurant last night where the waiter carried all 5 plates out at one time. It was for my grandma's birthday, and it was very fancy. Mindy turned and flashed Sophie one of those squinty, no-teeth smiles. And he set the desserts on fire. Really, said Kate, on real fire? Sophie nudged Kate with her elbow. Sorry, said Kate, shrugging, but that does sound pretty awesome. I'll tell you what else is awesome, Toby piped in. Sorry. Up suddenly, he was sitting at the boys' table and holding a handful of fries. Look at this. He opened his mouth as wide as he could. Yuck, said Sophie. Then one by one, he began to shove French fries in. 1, 2, 3, Archie counted. Soon the boys' whole table joined in, soft enough so that the lunch monitor wouldn't hear. 21, 22, 23. Toby pumped his arms. That was about all he could do with his big mouthful of fries. 23, cheered Archie. That's a record, said Jack. That's gross, said Mindy. No, that's awesome, said Dean. Toby, of course, said nothing. He looked happy, but uncomfortable too. He couldn't even chew. Awesome, Toby? Sophie didn't think so. She sat down and grabbed her own fries and Kate's, and she began to stuff them all in her mouth. Count, she mumbled to Kate. 1, 2, Kate began. Soon all the girls were joining in. 11, 12, 13. Then the boys counted 2, 18, 19, 20. Sophie took another fry and put it into her mouth. She really wanted to chew, but she was so close. She couldn't stop now. If this was what it took to be awesome, then this was what she would do. 21, 22, the voices were getting louder. Sophie picked up another French fry. So what if her jaw was burning? She was going to break Toby's record. She was going to be awesome. She wanted to smile, but she couldn't. So she wiggled French fry number 23 instead. Hey, that one doesn't count, shouted Toby. By then, he had emptied his mouth. It was too small. There's the picture. Way too small, agreed Archie. Sophie wanted to frown, but she couldn't, so she glared at Toby and Archie instead. Then she quickly picked up another fry and began to shove it in her mouth. 20. Suddenly, the voices around her stopped. It was like someone had hit the mute button, or there was something else that could make the lunchroom get quiet. Sophie slowly turned, and sure enough, it was Principal Tate. Uh-oh. Sophie's doing a lot of things to try to be awesome. But are those things that people that are awesome would really do? I think you can think of some better things that an awesome person would do. So for today, on your response to the story, would you write a person that is awesome would, and then tell me what they would do. Remember to put your date. I forgot to put mine, sorry. Put your date up here. Today is what? Is it the 18th? Oh my word. September is going by so fast. 9/18/2020. Don't forget to write your name. And down here, a person that is awesome would. A person that is awesome would. Okay, tell me about it. Have a great day.